Hi, and welcome along to the Invincible podcast, brought to you today by Who Knows Wins. Lee in the building. Yeah, we're not in the greatest of moods right now. Well, you know,
bit of kick in the teeth, isn't it? Last two, not out of 2 cups.
Out of 2 cups in 2 weeks.
Not scored a goal.
Not scored a goal. We had a team that looked half cooked last night, and you know what? We're going to discuss that today.
Yeah.
On today's podcast, we're going to discuss the Liverpool game, what went wrong, how comes, you know, we put in such a great performance at Anfield, and then we come back to our place and put in such a poor performance. I want us also to discuss the fact that now that's it. All we can concentrate on is the top 4. Could it kind of be a blessing in disguise when you consider our squad, that we can concentrate fully on that? And also, is it top 4 or bust for Mikel Arteta? I don't know, right? We're going to discuss that on today's show. But just before we get into that, Lee, we got this new game. I know normally we play the game every week where me and you predict 4 games. Who Knows Wins are giving us this new thing called Pick 10. It's 10 games that they pick out, and we got to predict. You go onto their app and you predict. And actually, the winner has a chance to win money.
Win money, win the whole lot. So
money, mate, money.
So you put your fiver in.
You put a fiver in.
And everybody, that's the pot. And so
That's
the more people that enter, the bigger the pot.
All right, I'm going to explain it to you, right?
Is that right?
Yes, it's pick 10.
By the way, have I won the other competition?
No, you ain't won the other competition.
Well, I was winning. I did slap you up, really. Like.
You slapped 2 up.
I did, I really did.
You were 2-1 up.
2-1
right?
up.
You were 2.
I was 8-1 up on this month as well. Like 8-1.
All right, listen, I'll tell you what I'll do, yeah?
8-1. Not
all right, I'll tell you what we'll do. All right. Yeah, I'll tell you what, you won that. But now we're starting a new competition.
So,
right?
So you got to treat me to hospitality. Is that what you're saying?
No, actually, you didn't win that.
Yeah, just said that on camera. Just said that.
All right, that's on hold. That one.
All right,
that's on hold.
Typical.
This one's super. You know what? With this one, right? If after the period, right, you win it, then I'll treat you to hospitality. If not, you got to treat me to hospitality.
Right. Okay. Like,
right.
So
now,
if you're winning it, we'll have another game. Like, yeah, we'll do another game.
No, it don't go like that. Now, listen, right now. To enter this Who Knows Wins, first of all, you download the app. There's a link in the description. Just click on that, download the app, get involved right now, and enter into Pick 10. That's the name of the competition, right? All you got to do then is you enter £5. That's what you put, and then you've got a selection of 10 games that you got to pick, right, from the weekend. They select the games, and then all you got to do basically is give you a prediction of what you think the game's going to be. And it's quite easy. Who's going to win?
Lose or draw.
Lose or draw.
So you don't even have to project the result like...
No. It's easier than that one.
Well,
and the thing about this as well,
double
right?
your money as fast as you can.
Little bit of incentive for everybody out there, right? The guys at Who Knows Wins, right? They're going to pick somebody at random who's made their deposit and give them £50 free credit to play games, right? So listen, that can't be bad. So get involved right now. Now, let me just quickly run through the games that they've gone for this week, right? And I'm going to give you my predictions, right? So the games they've gone for, right, is Bournemouth versus Hull, right? I've gone for a Bournemouth win. What do you go for?
I've gone for a Bournemouth home win. Bournemouth.
Yeah. All right. Brentford Wolves. I've gone for a Wolves win.
So have I.
Right. Leeds versus Newcastle. I've gone for Leeds.
Leeds, yeah.
Right. What are you copying them?
We're sharing the pot here. I said we're sharing the pot.
Man United West Ham. I went for a draw.
So have I.
Reading versus Huddersfield. I went for a win to Huddersfield. Away win.
Away win.
You're copying me, man. Sheffield United versus Luton. I went for a Sheffield United win.
I've gone for a draw.
All right. Stoke versus Fulham. I've gone for Fulham.
I've gone for Fulham.
Swansea versus Preston. I've gone for Swansea.
I have done as well.
And Southampton versus Man City. I've gone for Southampton. You must be crazy. No, I haven't. I've gone for Man City. And Atletico Madrid versus Valencia. I've gone for Atletico Madrid.
I've gone for Atletico. So we've only got one different answer on that then.
Yeah,
like so we could be...
Enter my £5 right now.
We could be sharing the pot.
I ain't sharing nothing with you, man.
I mean, like, hopefully
the pot, by the way, stands at £5,000, right? If you come first, you can win $3,000, right? Second place, 250. Third place, 28 quid. Right, so
yeah, typical. I bet I'll get the 28 quid, like, I mean, guarantee. If you start getting 5,000s and all that, like, you know.
You reckon you're so brilliant at these
things? No, even though we do get the money if that's the case.
Yeah, but you know what? If I get the money, I'm donating to charity.
Oh, yeah. What charity is that? The Robbie Lyle Fund?
Huh?
The Robbie Lyle Fund?
The Robbie Lyle Fund. I think if I won it, I'd give it to Prostate Cancer UK, my charity.
Okay, cool.
Charity I always do a lot of stuff with. So if I win it, I'm going to donate it to them. All right?
Yeah.
And you?
I'm going to donate.
Yeah, you see that?
I'm going to donate to Lee.
Don't even bother, mate.
I'm going to donate to Lee Judge's travel, like, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, let's get into it, Lee, man. Yesterday, it was depressing, man. I mean, Arsenal started off really, really well. By the way, just before I get into that, actually, I don't know if you got caught out. It took me ages to get into the ground yesterday. I got in late. That's the first time I got in for a game.
What was that then?
There was just huge queues outside. I mean, a guy at the turnstile said to me that they'd been having a problem with the turnstiles and a lot of tickets weren't being read, but it was crazy. So I got in a bit late, but Arsenal started well. Hit the post, you know, it's actually a great save by their keeper, Keller.
Yeah.
She tipped it onto, right?
He's got a little nick, didn't he?
But the moment that Liverpool scored that first goal, from then onwards, they just completely dominated the game.
You know, yeah.
What was wrong with us yesterday? It didn't seem like it was a semi-final of a Carabao Cup.
I think, you know, you could see that we was undercooked certain players and all that. And I'm not going to make that as an excuse. I just think Liverpool just showed their class. They really did.
Who was undercooked?
We was undercooked, but also...
No, but who was undercooked?
Well, Saka was. You know what I mean? That's his worst game for a while. Like, I know for a fact that he hadn't trained. Can't say how, but I do.
How do you know? You know that Saka didn't train?
Yeah, I know that. Like,
what, definitely?
Yeah.
No, hold on, wait a minute. How do you know that?
Well, I sit next to his brother, don't I? So, like, you know what I mean? So I know.
Oh, is that his brother told you?
Yeah. So he hasn't trained.
Okay. You sit next to his brother. Where are your seats?
Yeah, well, you know, right on the thing. I sit up.
This guy, man.
I come in and go home. He got his mum, his dad, and then his brother. I go, hello, Mr. Saka. Hello, Mrs. Saka. Hello.
That's why he never said nothing bad about Saka.
No, I don't like. You know, it's very hard when he misses. Unlucky, like. You know what I mean? But no. So Smith Rowe looks undercooked. So, you know, he hasn't played for it. Tommy Asu definitely.
He was at fault for one of the goals, isn't it?
So I would say three vital players. But other players didn't perform.
Partey having to come straight from the African Cup of Nations.
I don't, you know, I look on that and I think that, you know, certainly we can get into that in a minute, what I think about team selection and things like that at this moment in time. But what I think was a difference today of the game, up last week, we didn't have to look to attack. We could just defend and see it. But once winning a goal down, we had to try and open them down. And listen, I'm going to say this now, Liverpool showed their class. And let's get this right. Without their best two players, without 3 or 4 injuries, I think like even I thought when Oxlade-Chamberlain weren't playing, I thought that would give them lose their cutting edge from midfield. They put a young kid in there who done really well. Gordon was his name, like, you know. And they were just you can see that they're a well-drilled, well-cut. They know exactly what they're doing, and we're on the beginning of our journey. You can see that with certain players. But I will say this, the two positives for me, Odegaard is now becoming a real top player for us. And Martinelli again yesterday. You know, listen, Trent Arnold is a fantastic defender. Had to have someone doubling up on him all the time, and that was good play from Klopp to do that. He put that Gordon in there to go to double out on it, doubled up on him every single time.
And Saka as well.
Not
just double, treble. Yeah, sometimes 4 players.
They looked at the way we played, and they adjusted to it accordingly. I will say this though, and I don't know if you noticed this, and this is why we've got to get a centre forward in. Every time we get the ball, Ramsdale is kicking to either Martinelli or Saka. Why is he not kicking down the middle, because you've got Lacazette up against 2 6'6" central defenders that are going to gobble up everything, like, you know. And I just think that's our real problem at this moment in time.
We went really long.
Yeah, we didn't play through midfield. We didn't play through the lines.
We didn't even attempt to play through the lines.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, and we went out on a whimper, but
which was disappointing after last week. You know what I mean? Backs against the wall. You know what I mean? Really good performance. Could have nicked that game, right? Remember?
Yeah.
And then
fantastic last week. We was defensively. How well did we defend last week? And then we give away a goal like we did. It was shocking. You know what I mean? Ramsdale's got to hold his hands up to it as well. I thought he was a bit slow getting down to it. I
think he was a bit unsighted. You know them ones sometimes when the player, they kind of miss it. It kind of puts you slightly...
Yeah, he put him off a little. It did. But I still think the way he's been playing, he probably should have saved it. You know, Tommy Hassel slipped, but he had a poor game in there. Like, you know, and the 2 central defenders didn't cover themselves in glory, which they did last week. You know what I mean? Ben White, absolutely magnificent last week at Anfield. Bit shaky yesterday, like, you know. So we've got to sort that out. I just think, like, you know, it's disappointing to lose a semi-final, as we all know, like, you know, but that's 2 semi-finals under Mikel in 2 legged games now. Villarreal last season and this one. We haven't really done ourselves justice in all 4 games.
I think what is highlighted to me, the 2, you know, the going out in the 2 cups, and then I could see why he was so desperate to cancel that Tottenham game, because you could see how many players would have, what would we have had to have played that game? But we looked very undercooked yesterday. You could see there was a lot of players, they weren't at the level, and that's because they've been out injured. But what he showed me yesterday, and what he showed me against Nottingham Forest, is that for us to be able to compete, we need a better squad.
Yeah.
Right? We've got a good starting 11 when everybody's fit. I think we've got a good starting 11, and then probably maybe a 1-2 backups. But after that, I'm sorry, you know what I mean? The rest of the squad is just, you know, like you said, look at Liverpool. They're missing Thiago. They're missing Oxlade-Chamberlain. They're missing, Salah, Mane, Naby Keita. Those are 5 top quality players they're missing, but it didn't look like they still had top quality players out on the field. They still up front had Firmino. They still up front had Jota, who are top quality players.
Yeah. We haven't got that.
Look at their defence.
We haven't got that.
Look at their defence. You know what I mean? Matic came on. They bought on Konate.
Yeah.
He's a top player. You know what I mean? I think that's
how big he was.
Yeah, he's huge, isn't he? Right?
They're going to win no balls in the air against him, are you?
Despite, as I said, no Naby Keita, no Thiago, they still got Henderson in midfield. They still got Fabinho. They bossed that. They bullied it. You know, we had just Sambi Lokonga in there. And I think Sambi Lokonga, I didn't think he had a terrible game. But I think, you know, he's a young kid. He don't want to make mistakes. He does a lot of things as safety first, you know.
He was the one that gave the ball for Lacazette, though.
Sorry?
He was the one that gave Lacazette the pass.
I don't want to criticise him too hard, because it was literally just him there, wasn't it? So, because Smith Rowe was a bit of a passenger yesterday.
Yeah,
you could see he weren't fit.
Just wasn't there.
We need a better squad. If we're going to compete with Liverpool, if we're going to compete with City, compete with Man United, compete with, you know, and I know we're competing probably with United at the moment. That's only because they're terrible, right? We need a better squad. We need to bring in better quality players, right? You know what I mean? We brought Eddie on, and it's no criticism of Eddie because, you know, he hardly had much time to do anything when he did come on. But the first thing he did was be offside. Yeah. I see like one time where he's trying to sort of hold up back into Virgil van Dijk. Van Dijk just sort of went, move away, you know what I mean? We need better quality players. It's just as simple as that. You know what I mean? We look at the bench, then look at the guys who came in against Nottingham Forest. They're not good enough.
No, not at the moment.
They're simply not good enough, right? If we're going to compete on all fronts. And it was really disappointing to go out of the Carabao Cup in that way.
What I see with Liverpool yesterday, and their experience, they've got experienced players like Milner coming on and they do the job that you ask them to do. They're not getting silly sending offs, are they? No, they're not though, are they? They know when to make.
Don't get me started on the sending offs.
They when to make fouls. You know, I don't know if you noticed it when Martinelli, just before they scored, Martinelli's on the ball. Milner's trying to take him out, but, you know, he's done enough to just take him off his stride, not to give a foul, but for and then to nick the ball and go on. I thought it was a foul. The referee should have probably pulled it up, but he didn't. But they're very, very clever what they do. They're experienced
players
and know what they're doing.
We're relying, Lee, on kids.
Yeah, we are.
Our best players are kids. As a matter of fact, the kids have got cooler heads than the senior players. What was Partey? Now, number one, when I saw him on the team sheet, as on the subs bench, I remember we were doing the starting 11. I straight away said to those guys, I go, great to see him there in a way, but it's a bit of desperation.
100%.
I said it at the time. I said, what? I'd watched the guy play a couple of days before in the African Cup of Nations for Ghana, right? It was a tough game for them because they were down to 10 men literally the whole game. Another game. Down to 10 men. But they were down to 10 men for most of the game, right? It's baking hot over there. He was having to do a lot of the driving forward, you know, and they lost. That was a very embarrassing defeat for them, getting knocked out to the Comoros Islands. And I remember we were doing a watch along. There was like Belgium and a couple of Ghanaian fans on there. And their thing was, they were saying to me, Robbie, those Ghanaian players can't go home because people are going to be so angry with that performance, right? So already mentally he's down on the floor, right? His country, who was expected to progress and do well in this tournament, finished bottom of a very easy group, right? So he's on the floor already. Then to fly him in, there's no way, I don't know what did your source say about him training? But
he actually, well, Mikel said it, didn't he? He said he turned up yesterday afternoon.
Exactly, so he turned up yesterday afternoon and he's straight in the team.
It's like Sunday morning, isn't it?
Yeah. Sunday morning you turn up. Yeah, Lee. You here, mate? Get your kit on. Go and phone up someone who's still in bed. Got any shin pads?
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Right,
and I blame the club for that.
That was the desperation of Arsenal. That is how desperate we were because we were so short in midfield. Right? And then he comes on. I don't even know whether to blame him or not, right? Because obviously he's not mentally on that game. And then he gets himself stupidly sent off.
He's back. He's there for the Burnley game, isn't he? Really, he should have been there.
He's out. He's out now. I said before, leave him for the Burnley game.
You know what I mean,
right? And now he's out of that. That's another midfield problem. We shouldn't have played him in that game. But then again, he shouldn't have got. I mean, I see he's done an apology. That's another senior player. 14 red cards.
3 in the last 3 games.
3 in the last 3 games, and they're not kids that are getting sent off.
No.
Granit Xhaka. Partey, we've had in the past, Pepe gets sent off. You know, these are senior players, you know, and you don't win games when you're down to 10 men.
No, you can't win games.
You can't. The best thing you can hope for is a draw.
It's a draw.
Like last week.
And, you know, listen, I'm going to say it now. I'm going to say it now. Like, you know, that's the problem with that, and which Mikel's got to address. But my football club, Arsenal Football Club, is not being run properly. Not being run properly from top to bottom. And I mean that sincerely. Like, you know, January, we knew we had the African Nations trophy. Yep. We knew that. We knew we was losing El Nini, and you knew you was losing Partey. Now, halfway through the season, like for instance, West Ham have lost their 2 central defenders halfway through. That is, it can't be helped. But we've been told that you are not having El Nini and Partey in January, and for most of it. And in that game, you've got FA Cup, semi-finals of the League Cup, Tottenham. Done nothing about it. Let Maitland-Niles go, who's played in midfield and done okay for us.
Think about it. Maitland-Niles, who can think of 2 positions where we've had serious problems.
Yeah, right back.
And midfield. It's almost like
it is scandalous.
He would have been the ideal player because he could have played both those positions.
Scandalous, right, that they've allowed him to leave. Now,
why let him go early?
Why. 2 reasons they let him go, because they're creating space for other players, or I don't know. Now, if at the end of this transfer window they've not signed sufficient numbers and all that, then that's on Arteta, that's on Edu, and that's on the Conference.
It's too late though.
Well, we're still
really out of those
because we're out of those 2 cups. We're out of those 2 cups now, right? And people will tolerate that. because of top four. I ain't going to tolerate it. I'm saying right at this moment in time, this is now on all of them three because they've not sorted it out. Now, if they don't bring in the sufficient players we need and we don't get top four, someone is accountable for that and someone should go, whether it be Edu, Arteta or the Cronkies. Now, I can tell you one of them three is definitely not going. Right, they're definitely not going. So it's out of two. Edu and basically, if I'll be honest, maybe both of them should go because they've allowed this to happen. There's no way they should have allowed this to happen. And I don't mind. I can understand if you've got injuries at a certain stage and you ain't got a transfer when you had to get yourself through it and all that. This is something that they knew about. They knew it was going to happen, and it's a little bit of arrogance, if I'll be honest, to think that we could get through.
I think it seems like they assumed we'll get through the FA Cup. They assume they
did when the draw come out. Yeah,
the Maitland-Niles one just baffles me because I'm just like, you know, I do think we'll get a midfielder in before the end of the window, but the problem is we're already out of those competitions. It's too late. Well, it's not too late because we need that midfielder to try and push for the top four. But what I'm saying is we needed that midfielder at the start of the window.
Yeah.
Now you look at how Juventus are rolling. At the moment, we're after that player Arthur, right? Juventus are saying to Arsenal, you can have him on loan, but we got to find a replacement first. And this is a guy that hardly even plays for him. So it's the same sort of situation like a Maitland-Niles. And they're saying, we need to find a replacement first before you can have him.
Exactly, because they're the right thing by the football club.
How is it we let Maitland-Niles go out? As I said, he can play as that deep line midfield player. He could have played, you know what I mean? He could have played as a right back. And we let him go. I agree with you. That was a ridiculous decision. Didn't need to let him go that early.
Also,
what was the rush?
Also, I'm going to say this now.
Mourinho.
We're as weak as what we are. We've let 4 players go. The squad's weak. Right, you can say Kolasinac. You're right, okay. You know what I mean? Right, get that. Mari's not played this much. But we're 1-0 down with 20 minutes to go yesterday. We've put Eddie on. Who else is there to come on?
No one.
So why is Balogun not on the bench for this game? He could have been on the bench. When I look about and see kids that I've never heard of, and then Balogun could have gone on loan at the end of the window. But no.
There is a big miscalculation. And as well,
mismanagement at the highest level.
You think about it, Lee, right? It's not just the fact that AFCON. Surely they should have been taken into consideration coronavirus as well. And we had the Omicron virus hit the country, you know, at the start of December.
Yeah.
So surely somebody should have said, you know what? This thing has been, you know, we've seen a massive rises in the amount of players in the Premier League, even though it hadn't quite come to us yet, right? That's another reason why we need to keep as many people here as possible.
Aubameyang being thrown to the wolves or what's ever happened to him, like, you know, no replacement coming in for him.
Yeah.
We've got 3.
Exactly, and then that's the other thing. That's the other baffling thing, right? I'm like, well, we thought he would have been at AFCON, but he came back. But is it that bad that we could not even have him on the bench for last night's game? I don't know what's gone on there as well. Is it that shockingly bad?
Well, obviously it is. You know what I mean? Like, listen, he's not going to be cat. I don't care now. You know what I mean? There's no way back for him. So at this moment in time, we've got Eddie.
Is there?
No, I don't think there is.
No, but should there be a way back? Because I look on it like this.
We're still paying his wages.
I look on it like this. He's on huge wages, right?
And we're
trying to get that Dusan Vlahovic, right? Arsenal have been, to be fair to Mikel Arteta and Edu, they've been going real aggressive at that. I was speaking to Fabrizio Romano over on the DR Sports channel. Yeah. He said to me, he goes, yeah, listen, Robbie, you know what? Arsenal, they put the bid in. They've not put the bid in yet, but they've made it clear they're willing to pay this big money for him. They've made it clear they're willing to pay the wages for him. Fiorentina are willing to do business, right? Because there's a lot of money. But it's the player himself that's saying, well, I don't know, man. I think I want to wait till the end of the season. So they are pushing for this guy. But if they don't get him, then what? Surely they've got to go and sit down with Aubameyang and try and talk to him and see if they can work something out and get him back. There's no point in having a player on that amount of wages sitting on the bench unless he goes out on loan or something, right? And there's been suggestions this week about him going to Saudi Arabia, but that's only if he wants to.
Well, yeah.
So surely, because to me, I would much rather have had Aubameyang coming off the bench, even with all the issues, last night than Eddie.
Well, of course, exactly. Of course, you would like, But the ultimate thing is, this is what I'm saying about people say about trust the process and everything like that. Okay, let's trust the process. What is your process on the strikers? Aubameyang you've fallen out with. He's not there now. He's not playing. You've got Lacazette going into the last 6 months of his contract. You've got Eddie also on that, and you've let Balogun go. So basically, where's your stability in that main line striker?
We don't get a striker in.
If we don't get a
striker in again, we've left ourselves short.
We've left ourselves short, and also it tells me that we're not really in a calculated process of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Unless they get that done. And I'll be very, very disappointed if they don't get it done. If you're going after a player and putting all that, no, it's not guaranteed. But if you're going after a player for all that amount of time, surely you have spoken to him and there is a possibility that he could come. But we've had this with a while last season. It's not the first time. Like maybe Julian Draxler might come to the club. Like, or Benzema. All of a sudden these players.
But you know what? One thing I would say though, let's wait and see because in the summer they've done good business, right? They've done good business in the summer, but I do think the Maitland-Niles thing is a big error.
Yeah.
Going back to yesterday and just things in general, the other big issue with Arsenal, as I said, is the discipline issue. How many more red cards are we going to get? Yellow cards, give away penalties. I mean, that's got to be cut out as well.
One of the poorest things under Mikel is our managing of the games. It's game situation, management of games. We're not managing them properly. Listen, it's not long ago, Robbie, that we produced what I think was one of the best performances I've seen from an Arsenal team against Man City. I know we lost the game, but the football we played that day was fantastic. Why did we play that? We had Partey and Xhaka in midfield. All of a sudden, they're not about through discipline issues and whatever. And we've got to when you've got a small squad, you've got to be able to do. And I get the reason that Arteta wants a small squad at this moment in time because you haven't got that many games.
It's going to have to be smaller. So, talking about Leno going out now as well.
Okay, let Leno go because realistically, Leno's not going to play no more this season. So you might as well do it if you can get good money on him. And I'm going to say that he's been good for us. Like you get a replacement in, fine. I go along with that, but we've still got to build for top four because anything can happen in the season. You can get a couple of injuries, and then we'll be back to where we are. So you've got to sort that out. And if you don't get those injuries, and you've got these players, fine. There's next season for them to build and all that. Listen, it's a perfect time to bring in a player now. They sign on after this game. They've got 2 weeks of training, getting to know how to play and everything before we play a game again. And it wouldn't be too bad.
What was you saying to me before the game about how many games we've got coming up?
We've got one game in 5 weeks on a weekend. 1 weekend in 5.
I can't believe it.
After this game.
So we've got Burnley.
We've got Burnley.
Yep.
And then on the following weekend, it's winter break.
Yep.
FA Cup the following week.
We're out.
We're out. They've actually got a game in between them, Wolves, on a Thursday night. But then we go to the following weekend, which is, I think it's the 13th. Chelsea are in the World Club Championships. We're due to play Chelsea that day. No game. Then we've got Brentford the following week, I think the 18th or 19th. Then the following week, it's the Carabao Cup because Liverpool are in it now. We haven't got a game there. So for the next 4 weeks, 4 out of 5 weekends, and it's great if you can fly to Dubai or something like that, which the Arsenal players will do. But it's hard to get out of these places for us mere mortals at the moment. So
it's ridiculous, isn't it?
I'm not being horrible, but I don't want to go shopping on a weekend like that. I mean, I want to be going football. This is also, it's not great for us fans, is it? Like we ain't got games.
Let me ask you this then, right? Obviously now we're out of everything apart from the only thing left is the Premier League. We've still got a chance of getting in the top 4, despite the fact during the week was a great result for Tottenham. They came back. Still can't get over that. But they came back and beat Leicester. Man United won as well. I look at that top 4 position, right? And there's 4 teams really pushing for it. You could even put Wolves in it as an outside bet. Arsenal, Tottenham, Man United, West Ham, and let's put Wolves in it. 5 teams pushing for it. But Arsenal, could it be kind of almost like a little bit of a blessing in disguise that we ain't got nothing else? There's no excuses now. We can't turn around and say, oh, he's tired and we got to rest him for that game and that game. The only thing we've got to play for now is trying to get into that top 4. Can we do it?
Well, let's look at it. Manchester United have got the FA Cup and Champions League, so they've got games in them. Tottenham have got the FA Cup to still look at, like, you know. And West Ham have got the Europa League and the FA Cup as well. So there's no. I look at all of those teams at the moment. Tottenham, let's just take them into first. How many Tottenham players realistically would get into the Arsenal team? Would you take 1 or 2? Harry Kane would definitely get in, but other than that, not many. So if they come above us with the FA Cup and what is the reason? What is the reason that they come above us?
It could be the manager.
Right, could be the manager. Right, okay. What is the reason if Man United get above us? Probably got a better squad.
They've got a better squad.
Right, you could say that. But, like, you know, there's problems at Manchester United, as we've seen. You know, in fact, I didn't see the game, but I was listening to it on the radio, and they were saying that Brentford should have been 3-0 up. So there you go. So they've got problems. You look at West Ham, injury problems and all that, like,
and they've got the Europa League,
and they've got those things there. And you can see that they're struggling to make it. So Arsenal have got no excuses when you come to now. All those teams, Robbie. One of those teams, whether it be Arsenal or if you're going to put Wolves into it as well, right? Okay, Arsenal, Manchester United, Tottenham, West Ham, and Wolves. All right, one of them's coming 7th and 8th.
Yeah.
Right, and now if that's Mikel Arteta, I can't see him surviving that.
So you think if he comes outside of the,
I don't think. I'm going to be honest. I don't think Mikel Arteta with that team, right? What we've got at the moment should finish below Tottenham. The only reason that they will finish below Tottenham is Conte and if Spurs sign some players in this transfer.
They're looking at Adama Traore, aren't they?
So, well, at the end of the day, so Arsenal, I've got. So I look at it and go, right, they've got Conte and they've got better owners than us who are prepared to spend, like better owners than us, like, you know what I mean, that spend. So that shows you how poor it should be. West Ham have got injury problems and whatever, like, you know, we should come above them. If we don't, it's a failure. The only team that I would say that I would accept us to come above us and not get into the Champions League is Man United, because you can't argue that squad. But they've got problems with interim managers and all that.
Let me have a look at it. So if we're looking at the league at the moment as it stands, right? Let's just go from 3rd place. Right, Chelsea, 44 points. They could be drawn into it if they had a couple of little losses. Well,
if we win our games in end, we go on the same points as them. And don't forget, Sunday's a massive game. Because why? We play Burnley, Chelsea play Tottenham, West Ham play Man United. So all the teams that are in and around us and challenging are playing against each other. So
we've got to win. And Burnley are bottom of the league.
So now if they don't win that game on Sunday, you have to look at this management of the management on the playing side afterwards.
I can't even contemplate not winning that game.
But it ain't good enough.
That is every game now is a must win. Almost like a must win. I mean, listen, it's impossible to enlist Man City to do it, but
no excuses.
We got to go on a real winning streak, right? But the pressure is on that. But let me just look at that. So you got Chelsea in 3rd, played 23 games, got 44 points. West Ham in 4th, played 22 games, got 37 points. Tottenham in 5th, played 19 games. That gives them 3 games in hand over West Ham. And 4 games in hand over Chelsea. They got 36 points. Arsenal played 20 games, so they've got 3 games in hand over Chelsea. They've also got 2 games in hand over West Ham. They got 35 points. Man United played 21 games, and they're on 35 points. And then going back into 8th place, Wolves are on 31 points. But they do have a couple of games in hand as well. They've only played 20 games. So they also got a few games in hand over, say, for instance, a West Ham, and they won with them, right? So Arsenal are in a good position, you can say. I mean,
We're in a fantastic position.
They're in a good position. We're in and around. That is a long way to go yet. I think people got to remember that, even despite the fact that we're going to have so many weeks where there's no games.
You can forget about it if they don't sign a forward, Robbie. You can forget about it. Because it's not, when I look at that Arsenal team yesterday, and I said it on my fan cam yesterday, you're 1-0 down in a semi-final and you're taking off your main striker. What does that tell you? Replace him with Eddie, who's not good enough. We've got a problem there. We have to listen. A top-class striker, we might not be playing well, Robbie. Ball comes across, bit of magic, 1-0
like up. Yesterday, the chance that fell to Lacazette, not an easy chance.
Not an easy chance.
But you're a top-class guy, if that falls to him.
Look at the first 15, 20 minutes of that game. We were the better side. Jota has the chance, goal. Game changing moment. That's what strikers do. That's why they get paid the most. That is why it is, because it's the hardest job to do, is to score goals. So if we are in that position when we're not playing well, all of a sudden Saka can put in a great. For instance, look at what was the game? Nottingham Forest. Saka puts a cross in, Vlahovic at the back post, bang, goal. Poor we've played against Nottingham Forest, but we're in the next round.
Yeah.
No one worries about how bad you're playing. You're in the next round. We've got to get a striker.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that. Not for this season, but for the future as well.
The Everton game. You know what I mean? We're not playing well.
Bang, goal.
It goes 1-1, but then the ball gets popped in 2 yards out. Vlahovic or someone of top quality is not missing the header from 2 yards out. That's what he said. That's why you pay that money. That's the margin.
And I will guarantee you, when we've won leagues, going back in it, we won't be able to think of those games, but I bet there was a couple of games in and around there
always
that we weren't playing that well.
Well, if you're a Man City fan, a lot of Man City fans are probably going to look back at the end of the season to the Arsenal game and say, you know what, we were getting peppered up on that day, but you know what?
Took our chances.
We just had that extra quality, man, that just got us over the line.
I would say there's loads of games when we've not played well.
Look at Man United, how many games this season, if it weren't for... even if it weren't for Ronaldo, for instance, in the Champions League, they would be out. They would have lost every game, literally.
Yeah, they'd have been out.
So
it's important, and it's important now that.
But they are trying to get that player. But what if they don't? My thing is, what if they don't get Vlahovic? This is my thing. What I'm thinking now, right? If you don't get Vlahovic, who else do we get? Because any top striker, to get them away from their club in January is so difficult. Look at Newcastle. They got all the money in the world. Who could they get? Chris Wood, because they found out he had a release clause. Chris Wood, right? So that's what I'm saying. In January, to get that top striker. So to me, this is why. Sorry to cut you. This is why I'm saying, for me, if we don't get that guy, they need to go and sit down with Aubameyang and try and work something out, because we're going to need all the help we can get.
Yeah, and I think when you look at that Newcastle thing, right, if you have a look at that, maybe there is something in it that Arsenal are in for Vlahovic, because Newcastle could pay that money to him, but they've not done it, have they? Why have they not done it? Why have
maybe
they not?
It's the difficulty of getting somebody.
Maybe he is, no, he wants to go to Arsenal. I don't know, do you know what I mean? That's what I'm hoping, and then... for me, let Aubameyang go to Newcastle.
There's no other obvious strikers out there. Some of the strikers out there that people have suggested, like your Calvert-Lewins and that, Everton are never going to sell Calvert-Lewin mid-season, are they? No chance. They're already down near the bottom. That would be suicidal to sell your best striker.
The only reason that Vlahovic is probably gettable now is because he's going into the last year of his contract next season. Do you know what I mean? He's got 18 months or whatever left of his contract. So that's why, they want to sell. Listen, we've got 3 strikers at our club that are, and no one's gone into them. And if there's a shortage of strikers, that tells you everything you know.
There are teams interested in Eddie. But then the other day, this is what I'm a bit worried about again, is because Mikel Arteta said he's not letting Eddie go. Remember, he said that a couple of weeks ago.
Listen, I'm going to say that. Nothing against Eddie. I've got nothing against him. But when they took off Lacazette yesterday, 2 people next to me went. And that weren't Saka's brother, by the way. But it was. They just said that's it. They stayed to the end. But they're gone. Said that's it. We ain't winning this game. you know,
because he's still an emerging player in my books, right? He's an
maybe
emerging
a
player.
little bit of pressure.
But we need like you said, Lee. It's that top quality. This is what I'm saying. I actually think that if we don't get that in this January transfer window, the top 4 things going to probably be beyond us.
Do you know where I look at it like yesterday, right? The reason that Liverpool won that game yesterday, right, is because their 2 centre halves had no fear factor of Lacazette. And I don't mean that nastily. They know that he ain't going to be able. They knew physically he's not going to run him behind, and physically they knew they could handle it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and the intricate little bits of play and all that, play that in front of us. As long as we stay in our solid shape, we can do that. You had someone with the pace and power of, say, like with all the touch of Lacazette and the pace of Martinelli. Then all of a sudden you've got a problem. That all of a sudden those 2 centre halves are going to go, oh, hold on a minute. If we drop back. We'll have to drop back another 10 yards. That then allows your midfield players to have a little bit more space. If they push up, you've got the ball over the top, and you've got then on they can't cover so much over on Martinelli, and they can't cover so much on Saka. Yeah. They knew that they could do that, and still be able to handle it. But if they had that forward that can do what Vlahovic, hold on a minute, we've got it coming 3 ways now, and also then that triggers that if you're right, we're going to drop now because we can't do that. Then you get your Odegaards and Smith Rowe getting a little bit more space in there. We haven't got that at the moment. So they think, right, and that's not the right word, but we can bully Lacazette. We can get up there, get in his face. He ain't going to spin us and go around us and beat us and whatever with pace. Do you know what I mean? How many times the ball come into people like Ian Wright and he just flicked it and his pace got him away from it? That is not going to happen with Lacazette. It's not going to happen. So they know that. And I watched that game yesterday, and Van Dijk, I don't think he had a shower. He probably just went straight out, put his tracksuit on and went straight like, you know what I mean? Yeah, because he didn't get a sweat on.
It was easy.
He didn't get an hard. He didn't get hard work getting into the game. Now, I think if you're telling me though, like Trent Arnold, he did. He had to work hard. You know what I mean? Like, and I would say that Robinson, who got the absolute runaround against Saka last week, didn't this week because
because they have 3-4 players on every time. But
if you've got that top striker, you can't do that.
And if we don't get that, we might struggle to get the top 4.
We will miss out. We will miss out on top 4 because of it.
I think for us to get top 4, we need a bit of a perfect storm. We need to get a couple of top quality players in. And we need to have an injury-free run from now till the end of the season. Certain key players, Saka can't afford to get injured. Martinelli can't afford to get injured.
No.
Right? Tomiyasu, we've seen when he's injured how clear we are. You know? If Leno's going out on loan, we can't afford for Ramsdale to get injured either. Yeah. So we're going to need a lot of luck.
I will say this. If Arsenal sign Vlahovic, Arsenal get 4th.
Okay,
that's our bigger signing.
And we need a midfielder as well.
And I'll say that of what I've seen of him.
But you know what?
If he brings that form into the,
we probably need him more than a midfielder.
100%.
Because thinking about it, after those weeks you're talking about, you're going to have Xhaka back, you're going to have Partey back. Elneny would eventually come back from.
So you're all right. You're all right.
So you're gonna have all those players.
One game a week.
You know what I mean? So you're gonna, but the striker thing, even with the strikers we've got, like you said, they're not the top. So to me, I think it's either because you think about it when we would over the past couple of seasons when we have won things or whatever. It has been, the difference has been the striker, which was been Aubameyang. Remember, Aubameyang came in he came in that January and he hit the ground running and scored loads of goals. So
been
it's
fantastic for us.
Either got to get Vlahovic in, like you said, which would be the preferred option. If not, they've got to somehow sit down, in my opinion, and try and work out, because then we're going to need all the help we can get. That's what I just been thinking. All the help we can get until the end of the season.
The way we're playing at the moment, whether it's with Aubameyang or Lacazette, it's like cutting your roast beef joint with a spoon at this moment in time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm serious on this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, until he's got the proper tool to play the way that he's playing, your roast beef is not coming up nicely sliced, right? It's 100%.
A spoonful of roast beef.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So he needs to get that forward that suits
Yeah.
his game. Vlahovic, I'll tell you who would suit our play. Harry Kane, someone like that can do that sort of striker. Do you know what I mean? Like Calvin Lewin, that sort of striker. Then all of a sudden, your beef's being carved. You know what I mean? Yeah?
Love the analogy. Let me just finally ask you this, right? So if he gets top 4, that would be a great season, would you say?
Well, not a great season because we've had no Europe. We've got no cup finals, no trophies. But
at the start of the season,
at the end of the day, like, you know what I mean, I would listen. I felt that Arsenal should have won or got to a cup final without no Europe, with one of these domestic trophies. I always said it would be the League Cup because you know, some of the teams in playing Europe don't play there, but it's worked out that they've all gone strong, haven't they? Like, do you know what I mean? And ultimately, once West Ham knocked out Manchester City, there was a door open. And I can tell you that a few of the teams looked at that and thought, well, we're going to start playing our strongest sides. That's what's happened. So from the domestic side of the Cups, it's been a total failure. You know, FA Cup, 3rd round this season, 4th round last season, got to be improved on, especially after you won it, and it's really kept a lot of faith in and points in your job. Gets the top 4, that's what the owners want, so you're gonna look at it, it's a great season and gets whatever he wants. But 5th?
For me, I said before,
I'll take
top
5th.
Top 4 would have been more important this year than a trophy, than the Carabao Cup. Nobody remembers the Carabao Cup.
No. I'll
top
go along
4.
with that. I'll go along with that. I'll say top 4.
Yeah.
All right. But
if he gets top 4, obviously he keeps his job. Everything's great. Not great, but everything's good. You've had a half good season. Move on to next season. Rebuild. You can attract players now. Champions League, fine. What if he gets top 6? Keeps his job?
Right. No. I think that, listen, if he goes to the last game of the season and we've got a chance of getting 4th, and something happens, Shaka sending off, let's put it like that way, like, yeah, and we end up losing and coming 6th by a point or whatever like that, I can accept that. I can say, right, you know, it's there. I'm going to say this now: if he gets Vlahovic or Vlahovic, whatever his name is, and he gets 6th or 7th, then I'm going to turn around and say, no. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. Like, but if he doesn't get anything now to the end of the season, I'm not going to really say it's all down on him. But if he gets 7th or 8th and we're 5-6 points off the top 4 and Spurs are in and around it, that tells me that Spurs have got a manager that can get them there, and I want a manager that can get us there.
Okay. I'd say if he gets top 4, obviously keeps his job. That would have been at the start of the season when I looked at all the teams. There's no way I had Arsenal in the top 4.
No, nor did I. No.
So if he got top 4, he would have overachieved, right? So you've got if he gets top 6, I'd say that's par. So you keep your job. We'd be back in the Europa League. Still not where I want to be. But I think if he drops out of that 6 and we're 7th, 8th again, no Europe or Conference League or whatever it is, then you've got to start looking for changes. Yeah. I think that's only fair. I think it's top 4 or top 6 and bust now for Mikel Arteta. He's got to get into. There's no excuses now. No one can talk about players being tired. No one can talk about this. I mean, we've got one game a week. As they say, you've only had one thing to do.
Yeah, one thing to do. Make sure you do it. But the other side of it is, and this is a real good point, like from that point of view, he has put himself now. You know, like Alden Mikel. I'm not a Mikel in or out. I see it. I'm a flip flop. You know what I mean? If he's doing well, I'm with him. If he ain't, he ain't. But this comes now. It's crunch time for him. It really is. He has put himself under pressure with this last month because this is the worst scenario that he could have had going at the end of this month, out of both cups and about 8th. Because if we don't beat Brentford, Burnley. We're going to drop more places.
Yeah, that'd be a disaster.
It's a big disaster. So he has now put himself under the microscope. He has put himself right on it now, like, you know what I mean? And if he doesn't produce, the justifications for him to be sacked are there and there for it. Like, God hope that he can turn it around and we get the results.
All right, well, you've heard it there. It's going to be big for Mikel Arteta. The game coming up against Burnley, bottom of the table, is massive on Sunday. We have to win that. Have to. No draws. They beat us last season at home, remember?
Yeah, 1-0, yeah.
Right? We got to win that game and, got to do something in the transfer window. You heard Lee saying we need someone of the quality of Vlahovic and a top striker. I want to know what you guys think. Where would you look at it? Would you say top 4, does he keep his job? Top 6, does he keep his job? If he's outside the top 6, what happens? Would love to hear from you guys in the comments. Let us know. Also, don't forget to download Who Knows Wins. The link is in the description. Go in a battle against me and Lee. Right?
Win the pot.
See if you can take us out and win that pot, right? But we've entered our ones as well. So make sure you get involved in that. The link is in the description. It's great. Be responsible with it. Be gamble aware and that, right? But the link is in the description. And looking forward to the Burnley game now. Well, that's it. We've got nothing else to look forward to. Is it one game? Was it?
One game in 5. So, get your credit cards out. It's shopping. Oxford Street or wherever you want to go.
Oh, my God. I can't believe it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and we'll see you next week.